Hey sippers, it's your girl Kim. So, have you ever wondered what is the difference between a wedding planner, a wedding designer, and a day of coordinator? You're getting married, you're trying to figure it all out. Who should you hire for your big day? Well, let's break down the difference between a wedding planner, a wedding designer, and a day of coordinator. But before you get started, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you can stay up to date with Sip Happens with Kim. But before we get started, make sure to pour your favorite drink, sip, and get these wedding tips. So what is the difference between a wedding planner, a wedding designer, and a day of coordinator? Well, it's simple. Your wedding planners, you should look at them like a general contractor. So that is the person who's going to make sure that you stay in your budget, that you have all of your timelines, and you're on task for your big day. Now, some wedding planners have all of their own inventory and they can manage your decor and all of the design and rentals for your special day. But generally, they are the ones who touch all the pieces of your wedding. They may do everything in-house or they may subcontract other vendors in, but they're the ones that are conducting and running the entire project, just like a general contractor would on building your home or renovating your home. Typically, you will work with a planner a year in advance of your wedding. Sometimes it's less, but it depends. And the prices will vary on a wedding planner. Some charge a flat fee, some charge a tiered service, and some charge a percentage of your total wedding. But regardless, you want to think of them as a general contractor or your fairy godmother. They're there with you every step of the way, and they start well in advance of your big day. So the biggest thing to do is to make sure you connect well with them and that you communicate effectively so you can have the best experience. It's just that simple. So your wedding planner is basically a general contractor. So you have to think of them also as a full service event producing company. Like us, I am a full service wedding planner. I have my own inventory. Sometimes I will outsource certain things just because it's more feasible, but I'm the one that's with my clients from beginning to end. From the moment they contract with me, we're booking vendors and venues, creating a budget, staying on task. We're talking about etiquette and best practices and solving problems. So that's what your wedding planner / wedding producer is. So now let's talk about the other type of wedding planner. So then there are wedding designers. There are certain people who are hired just to design your wedding, just what that says. So wedding design is kind of like an interior decorator. You may have a wedding planner that does not do design. They're probably there just to do logistics and coordinate and manage all of your vendors. There are wedding designers who are strictly there for design. They don't deal with any of the vendors. They don't deal with family and wedding party issues. They don't deal with tasking. They don't deal with timelines and collecting money for other vendors, managing all the other things that go into wedding. They're strictly there for wedding design. So you have to look at a wedding designer as an interior decorator. So now there is the day of coordinator, also known as day of management or month of management. You will hear people use those words interchangeably. So a day of coordinator, a month of coordinator, or a day of management strictly is that. That is all they do. So they will work with you typically 4 to 6 weeks before your big day. Some work with you 30 days before, but you have to do all the planning, all of the design, and they're strictly there to make sure everything you created and everything you planned will go as flow. Now, I will have to tell you, some of these people are strictly there like a conductor of an orchestra. They're not going to play all the instruments of the orchestra. So what that means is they're strictly there for day of. So you may have to pay some additional money if they have to bring in labor / production cost to help with setup or design. So if you hire this person, just understand one person cannot pull off everything. So they may charge you some additional fees for production costs, which is the labor, the delivery, and the setup. That's what they have to coordinate with your other vendors. So they may need an assistant or additional staff, and they would charge you based on the scope of your event to coordinate the day of. Now for me, I like to do full-on planning because to me, it creates a better connection with my couples. So I don't offer day of coordination. I don't think it's a bad thing. However, for me, I like to have a closer connection to the clients. I like to be with them throughout the process. I still have connections with most of my clients. I go to the baby showers. I've even planned some of the baby showers. I go to family events. And sometimes once the wedding is over, it's over, but we still have a great relationship and we created a great experience for them. And I find sometimes day of coordination, which is not a bad thing, so I don't want any coordinators calling me or at me, but it works for some people. There are brides and there are grooms and there are couples, period, who are very savvy at planning their special date. But for me, it's a little more of a connection. I like to be with my couples throughout the entire process, and I want to make sure they have a great day. I used to do that early on in my career, day of management, but I found that many of the clients were not as organized as they said they were. They did not have things together as they said they were, and the day was not a good day for me or for them. So for me, I offer full planning, and you will meet planners who say they do not offer day of coordination or planning, and they do not just offer design. They offer full service event planning, which includes planning, design and decor, and day of coordination. Now, how they price that will vary based on that planner and their experience. And I tell clients all the time, you get what you pay for. There are a lot of novice, brand new, trying to start out coordinators / event planners and event designers who may not charge their worth. So you may get a good deal, but you pay for experience and expertise. Now, by hiring a planner or a designer or a day of coordinator does not mean you automatically get these huge discounts at venues and vendors. Sometimes you do, but what it does is the relationship. So now you know the difference between a wedding planner, which is like your general contractor, a wedding designer, which is like your interior decorator, and a day of coordinator, who is basically on site the day of, like a conductor of an orchestra, just to keep everybody moving and all the pieces sounding and looking good. That's what they are. Now, you may also hear of site coordinators. So a site coordinator is usually an employee of your wedding venue. Now, they're not going to do a whole lot with you before. They're strictly there to move you in and out of the venue space. So they have a timeline of, okay, we cut the cake at this time, you come in the door at this time, they make sure your gifts are put up, they get you in, they get you out. But they don't deal with family drama, they don't offer etiquette. Sometimes they have referrals, but in general, that is all up to you. So I tell people a site coordinator works for the venue, not for you, okay? So if you want someone to help you throughout the process, you want to decide what your needs are. Can you manage and plan your wedding yourself? Then maybe a day of coordinator is for you. Do you need some etiquette and some help along the way? Well, then maybe you need the full service event planner or some type of partial planning. Or you say, you know what, I have it all together. I don't even have a wedding party. I don't need all that etiquette. I'm not doing all of that. I just want the space to be beautiful. Or my aunt or Miss Mary in the church who does all the church events, she's gonna handle it for me. If that's the case, then you may just need a wedding designer. But either way it goes, you need to know the difference when you start interviewing and talking to professional wedding planners about what services you think you will need for your big day. So again, your wedding planner is like your general contractor. Your wedding designer is just like an interior decorator, interior designer, and your day of coordinator is just there to conduct the orchestra and keep everything flowing. Even if you don't think you can afford a planner, it is still a good idea to at least interview one and schedule a consult, whether it's free or it's a nominal fee. It's worth it in the end, so you can make sure you're having the best experience ever. Because remember, it's about the marriage and about having a beautiful wedding experience. So if you've enjoyed this tip, go ahead and make sure to subscribe, like our channel, and turn on notifications. In addition to that, visit us at NOLAeventplanners.com so you can subscribe and get those free downloads and wedding tips that will help you plan your big day. So next time, make sure to pour your favorite drink, sip, and get these wedding tips. See you next time, sippers.